Our story begins in 1971, just 2 years after the historic Stonewall riots that were the catalyst for the modern gay rights movement. The LGBTQ Center Orange County was established as a volunteer organization to provide support and to be a safe haven for our community. The 70s were a time of growth and change in our movement for justice. Martha P. Johnson and Sylvia Rivera co-founded Street Transvestite Action Revolutionaries, also known as STAR. Harvey Milk became the first openly gay person to ever hold public office. And in the fall of 1979, we had our first national March on Washington for gay and lesbian rights. The center continued to develop, and in 1975, we were fully incorporated into a 501c3 nonprofit, community-based organization by our founders, Mary Rule, Joe Musquez, and our beloved Brad Bradford.
In 1971, I signed the Articles of Incorporation, and that was the beginning of the center. There was a center up in LA, and it was in an old house because at that time it was illegal. You could be arrested for being gay. Teachers could lose their jobs. The first parade I walked in had a grocery bag over my head with two tear-outs so I could see where I was going. We don't have to hide from the world. We can be like every other human being and walk down the street and act and interact with the world around us.
Hi, I'm Michael Squadro, and I first was introduced to the center in 1983 by calling the hotline. In the early 80s, HIV was rampant among gay men, and there was no cure. HIV testing was new, and because there were no protections against discrimination, gay men were discouraged from actually getting tested at one point. Community leaders like our own Pearl Jemison Smith led county HIV education efforts. The center provided education through the lifeguard program, speakers bureaus, and later HIV testing in a safe environment. Youth programming has long been a staple of the center's mission, and that's where I found my calling and many of my friends. I attended my first youth rap on a cold, rainy Sunday night in 1983, where I met a cadre of young men who would remain close friends with me to this day. Together, we learned how to come out and be out, how to advocate for our interests and lobby for LGBTQ equality, and to support one another. I led the Young Adults program for a year after I finished college, and then went on years later to serve on the board of directors. After my friends and I termed out at age 23 from the youth program, a core group of us continue to meet each and every year to this very day, developing lifelong friends. I can't imagine my life without the center, and I'll always work to make certain that the center is here for the youth of today and tomorrow. I hope you'll join me.
Hi, I'm Paul Blank, and I was very involved in the center in the 1990s. I first went to a center event in 1995, and I eventually became the board chair in 1999. My time at the center was rich with activity and innovation. The American Legacy Foundation, through the center, addressed the prevalence and pitfalls of smoking in our community. The David Bonnet Cyber Center gave folks the opportunity to build skills in technology, which led many of us into successful careers. The 1990s were a decade of LGBTQ rights, thrown onto the national stage through court cases that would set up our queer folks to continue to resist and fight for our rights, including Don't Ask, Don't Tell, and the Defense of Marriage Act. Although we experienced the tragic loss of Matthew Shepard, in our local community we started to see acceptance and groundbreaking leadership roles, with the first openly gay coach and youth-led GSA club in Fountain Valley.
Hi, my name is Michael Boma, and I joined the center's board of directors in 1997. The 2000s and 2010s shifted the focus of the center. The shift was really to civic and social justice while expanding the footprint. And in 2008, we did this through the purchase of the permanent building, which we currently have, and our permanent home located in Santa Ana on Spurgeon Street. And we're very, very proud of that building. We worked very hard for that. In 2015, the center leased the CO4 building on 4th Street as a social space for our community to come together. And of course, this was made possible by our generous donors. I've worked with some amazing people over the 18 years, and I can honestly say everybody brought something very unique to the table. The center has had amazing staff members. So from the bottom of my heart, congratulations on 50 years. And I know the foundation is nice and strong and the will is there. And so the center will be around for another 50 years.
During the 2010s, my relationship with my now husband, Dan Doe, flourished. And during that time, the LGBTQ Center staff and board of directors were there to celebrate with us and support us. And I look forward to 50 more years of the LGBTQ Center supporting future couples like ourselves. The center's focus has broadened from the fight for equality in Orange County all the way to Sacramento and Washington, D.C. Historic legal battles resulted in the repeal of Prop 8, Don't Ask, Don't Tell, and the momentous overturning of the Defense of Marriage Act, declaring same-sex marriage legal in all 50 states. Our advocacy for LGBTQ rights led to the expansion of our youth program. The center not only provided peer and social support groups for youth at the center, but our staff began doing outreach to middle and high schools throughout Orange County, ensuring that our LGBTQ plus youth felt safe in school.
So now, after 50 years, the LGBTQ Center Orange County has refocused its efforts to advocate on behalf of the Orange County lesbian, gay, bisexual, trans, queer, and questioning community, and continue to provide services to ensure its well-being and positive identity. In 2020 alone, the center had 49 GSAs supported in Orange County, over 5,400 LGBTQ plus affirming counseling sessions, and 3,300 interactions with community members. And we're just getting started. The LGBTQ Center OC continues to evolve its programs and focus to ensure we're speaking up for those most marginalized in Orange County. Our work is far from done, and with support from all of you, we can continue to light the way for another 50 years.